Hello friends. Things are complicated, but before I go into detail, I will try to interpret what is happening here on a spiritual level. Opinion article. Final battle for the earth. The outside is a reflection of the inside. The electoral conflict reflects the division. There has been an expansion of DNA. An event will awaken consciousness. The ascension of humanity is underway. This explains the desperation of the old system. There are states where there were more votes than voters. Election protests in several US cities. Vote counting irregularities detected. The census figures do not match the votes cast. 1 billion ghost votes have been cast. The Supreme Court is likely to invalidate these elections. The OSCE criticizes lack of electoral transparency. The president is considered the winner if the legal votes are counted. Candidates maintain minimal differences in key states. North Carolina will not announce results until November 12. The release process is underway regardless of the vote count. Let's start. We are in a final battle between light and darkness for the ownership of planet Earth, in which the old three-dimensional control matrix system has been in place since immemorial time, is disappearing. According to the new data received by the coalition, there has been a substantial expansion of DNA over the last month, and this expansion will be even more noticeable over the next 2 months, explains Michael Love. The events taking place on the planet right now are only the latest vestige of the darker soul elements trying to maintain the control they have had over this planet for eons, for their own benefit. They may appear to have physical power over you, but they have no power over the soul. We are preparing for a much brighter future where we take giant steps in the evolution of consciousness as individuals and as a collective. We are opening ourselves up to a myriad of possibilities as we continue to move forward through the difficult circumstances that we face in the world and in every life. The devil is being removed from our world. The hidden enemy, so often spoken of, is in the process of crumbling. The long precession of the equinoxes, which last a Platonic year of 25,000 years, is coming to an end. The dark ones have had their time. They are finished. World event. A spectacular world event is expected to be the catalyst and precursor of the next big thing. This event will be positive, but will have a strong impact on human consciousness worldwide, and will cause people to begin to awaken much more quickly. This sudden leap in consciousness will be the major event in Earth's ascension calendar. On 21st December 2020, a magnificent celestial stargate will open in the heavens, making the dawn of the new age of Aquarius and the first day of the Satya Yuga, or golden age of central sunlight. This will take place at 11:11 on the winter solstice, and will finally give rise to the long-awaited new age of light and the birth of the new fifth-dimensional Earth. A large conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn falls on precisely the most significant solar day of the year, the December solstice. At that time, powerful high-frequency energy will begin to flow from the central sun into the Earth's atmosphere. This light has not been present on Earth since the date of Atlantis, and will recode the DNA to a more complex order. Every great ancient stone temple and observatory on planet Earth was designed to follow these divine lights as it moves through the heavens, and we will be the first to witness it with our own eyes, and that is why we are here and now. Ascension. The great ascension of humanity is now imminent to every front, and something really great is about to happen on planet Earth. Humanity is about to experience an evolutionary quantum leap in its consciousness, and all beings in the universe are here to witness the great ascension of humanity. This present reality is the time spoken of by many ancient prophets and visionaries, when humanity would begin to pass through the long period of cosmic darkness into the new blinding golden age. On December 21st, 2020, our entire galaxy will move into the fifth dimension, also known as the New Age of Aquarius, and the sixth golden age of humanity will reach a vibratory platform where these ancient restrictions and controls will no longer have power. Those who wish to live in harmony, sharing, caring, cooperating, and working with nature, creativity, and love will form spiritual communities and a totally new and different civilization. The new age of Aquarius brings the realization of our true divine self, and in this everything becomes possible and the state of perfection is achieved. This is the end. But it's the end of the dark control that is freeing all people from fear and division, enabling them to evolve consciously and spiritually as aspects of God, divine sovereign beings, multidimensional beings, and members of the universal family. Families want their children, grandchildren, and future generation to be healthy, prosperous, and to have a full life in peaceful and harmonious world. These shared values are much greater than ideological differences. And that is why unity of spirits is the co-creation of such a world, is where civilization is headed. Be assured that the light has won. It may seem to you in the days and weeks ahead that this is not so, for you will see the dark ones fighting desperately for their lives. You will use every device possible to maintain control. They will spread fear and anger, vitriol and violence. They will not succeed. Fabulous times lie ahead. You are the chosen saints. You are helping the great awakening process with your radiance, your love, your light. Your high frequency is lifting humanity into the holy resonance of love out of the mire of darkness that we have inhabited for the last eons. Paradise lies ahead, dear ones, and beautiful days in paradise lie ahead as we return to our holy divine heritage of love. Watermark. The watermark ballots were part of a large military operation of the White Hats. The coalition made sure that each official ballot had a white watermark that could not be seen. As votes were entered into the system, the computer checked whether the ballot was valid or not. With this technology, it can be deduced that the president won the election by 80%. The coalition's plan to break up the clique has been in place for more than 20 years, and only now have they had the opportunity to catch them red-handed in 12 key states where more than 20,000 National Guards were deployed. Don Carlos of Marbella believes that a new presidential election is possible in 120 days if the Supreme Court confirms all the irregularities. 5 states had more people voting than the registered to vote. The common law of the restored republic will not have political parties, but its region will be represented by people. More votes than voters. There are states where there were more votes than voters, and where postal votes were sent that were always exclusive to the elderly. In summary, 140,000 mail ballots were found in Wisconsin, 1 million in Pennsylvania, 200,000 in Michigan, and then another 100,000, all for the white-haired candidate alone. On election night, November 3rd, the transition states of Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan suddenly stopped the vote count, even though the president was ahead of them and could not be caught. The president's team placed secret watchmen, loyal people, in 12 battleground states to observe and record the election process. This had to be kept secret to catch them in the act. They appear to have set up a Project Hammer application called Operation Scorecard, a mechanism that can alter the voting result of electronic machines in key states, such as Pennsylvania, that would determine the outcome of the vote. A scorecard could change the election in any way managers would like. It's an extremely secret signal intelligence program, originally developed by contractor Dennis Montgomery. Figure breakdown. 1.5 billion phantom votes have appeared in 8 states, more voters that were registered. In addition, 26,000 votes have suddenly been found in Philadelphia, and for all the white-haired candidates. And 7 neighborhoods in Detroit have reported more voters than they registered, all with an incredible 90% turnout. There is a possibility that the Supreme Court will annul these elections due to the large number of irregularities detected. The Washington Times reported that Judicial Watch was found 1.8 billion ghost voters in 29 states and warns of dirty elections, according to Isaac Jimenez. In other words, registration rates in those counties exceeded 100% of eligible voters. The study found 8 states that show registration rates in excess of 100%. Up to 6,000 illegal votes identified in Nevada. Thousands referred to the Department of Justice for possible criminal violations of election laws. A law firm working with the president's campaign legal team has identified up to 6,000 illegal votes in Nevada. A letter was sent to the district attorney of Clark County, Nevada, alleging voter fraud by persons who were not legal residents on Clark County. as there were more than 10,000 ballots cast in the state by voters who do not live in the state. 7 Milwaukee districts report more presidential votes than registered voters. The state's voter turnout is almost 90%, which is virtually impossible. For their part, North Carolina officials will not announce the results until 12 November, and this will prevent the president from reaching the required 270 electoral votes. Pennsylvania won't resume counting votes until Friday due to paperwork. A Pennsylvania county says it won't start counting more than 35,000 ballots until Friday due to the need for paperwork. However, the president's team is considering winning today, Friday, with victories in Pennsylvania and Arizona. Legal measures. The blonde candidate's campaign said Thursday that it expects to take additional legal measures in Pennsylvania and Nevada, and predicted the Republican president would be victorious in the elections by Friday afternoon. In addition, 23,277 votes were found in Philadelphia, all for the strangely white-haired candidate. The votes arrived in a strange van at 4 in the morning when everyone was sleeping. However, the Philadelphia DA threatens to jail the president if he sends in uncertified election monitors. Officials still refuse to allow Republicans monitors into the room. A financial controller from Detroit corroborates that they got 130,000 votes out of 3 cars, all of them for whom we already know precisely. For his part, the president's team has filed a lawsuit in Georgia to stop counting the ballots after the elderly man's camp sought volunteers to go door to door, helping voters sort through their mail on the ballots after election day. Election news. The OSCE criticizes the lack of transparency in the elections. The Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe expressed its concern about the irregular financing of the elections, the bias of some media, and other issues such as the impediment of some states to foreign observers' access to the polling stations. Candidates maintain minimal differences in key states. The differences in votes between the president and his Democratic rival remain minimal in some of the key undecided states that could tip the balance one way or the other. Elections divide Congress. The elections changed the configuration of the House and Senate, but ultimately left Congress largely as it was at the outset, deeply divided as voters resisted major changes despite of a close contest for the White House. Protests in several cities as vote count extends. The second day of sometimes confrontational demonstrations over the integrity of the presidential election began Thursday in Philadelphia and other cities as the count stands in a handful of states that would decide the final outcome. The president is considered a winner if the legal votes are counted. If you count the legal votes, I win easily. If you count the illegal votes, they may try to steal the election from us. If you count the votes that were late, we are looking at them very strongly, but a lot of the votes were late. he told reporters at the White House. President denounces electoral fraud. The president said he sees the counting of votes in some states as very rare and is going to the Supreme Court to ask for the votes to be counted. These statements outraged the Democratic Party, which asked to wait until the last vote is counted in all states. Your son's comment. Perhaps your son's Trump Jr. recent tweet can be a clue. It's time to clean up this mess and stop looking like a banana republic. White House challenges vote count. The president has announced that his team will challenge the recount for fraud in all states that have sided with their Democratic rivals in recent hours, and has asked that any ballots that may come at the end of the election day be considered. The recount is made more difficult by the fact that due to the health crisis, a record number of citizens voted by mail, and the ballots sent on 3rd November were late in arriving at the election commissions. The Democrats were much more likely than the Republicans to send the ballots by mail. Facebook censored a group protesting election fraud. Facebook has confirmed that it's actively censoring pro-Trump groups that are concerned about possible vote counting irregularities in several states, when it issued an explosive announcement saying that it had removed a large protest group from its platform. The 325,000-member Stop the Steal group was formed by the non-profit organization Women for America First and is calling for boots on the ground to protect the integrity of the vote. New system. These problems will lead to the quantum voting system, QS, legally applied in the future elections. This cannot be hacked, and you can vote on your computer or mobile phone. The system will have certain security questions that only you know the answer to, and the software has certain algorithms that confirms your location, computer, and even videos linked to you, and knowing it's you safe. The new quantum financial system has been running for 8 years, and the top-level hackers had not been able to crack it. Everyone on the planet has or will have their bank's account on this system. The general public doesn't know about it. The old hackable SWIFT system disappeared a few weeks ago. The system was installed in most banks about a year and a half ago, and now boasts that all the banks in the world are connected. Bankers has been subject to a strict confidentiality agreement, non-disclosure agreement, on the information in the system. The release process is already underway behind the scenes, regardless of the undercover operation of the vote count in the elections. Security concerns are being addressed by Department of Defense teams on Friday, 6 November, to ensure that no street riots occur. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.